Hi everyone and welcome back to our Saving Christmas series. In this series we're going through how we created the Saving Christmas game released in the run up to Christmas. If you want to go check out that game, find the link in the description below. Plus you can also find all the assets required to recreate this project yourself following these videos. In these videos I'm going fairly quickly over the components, but they're all covering similar things that we've covered elsewhere on the channel, so if you want more information, by all means check them out. In this episode, we're going to continue our work on the boss battle. So in the last episode, we've got our phase 1 working, with it spawning these giant snowballs which roll across the map with the aim to hurt the player. So that's phase 1. Phase 2 is going to be him spawning out the ground and shooting snowballs out of his face towards the player. So that's what we work on today. To get started with this, we're going to open up Frosty's actor. And very similarly, what we've done here with enter phase 1, we're going to do an enter phase 2. So we make a custom event called enter phase 2. Now this thing's going to also play animations, so I'm going to just copy and paste what we've got there down here. And it's going to play the animation of it spawning. So it comes out the ground. After it comes out the ground, I'm going to take it to wait a little bit before it commences the attack animation. Now the amount of time I'm going to take it to wait for is the length of this animation. So I'm going to just scroll along till I find him stop moving, which is about here, so about 2.5 seconds. So I'm putting a delay for 2.5 seconds. After which we're going to copy and paste this again to tell it to play the different animation, the attack animation. Now the attack animation is going to be handling when it shoots the the snowballs. So let's go have a look at the attack animation. So here we want to set up some notifications for the start and end of him shooting. So to do that, we need to create our own custom anim notify state. So I'm going to go to add new blueprint class, and I'm going to search for all classes here for anim state. You want anim notify state. Click select, and we'll name it Frosty attack state. And we're going to now assign that to our attack animation. So find the starting position, about here, right click on the notifier bar, add notifier state, and you should see our new one that we just made, Frosty attack state. When you click on that, you can then click and drag how long you want this state to last for. So find the end of the animation, which is there, and I'm going to plug that to there. Hit save, and we can close that. So if we double click on Frosty attack state, we get a blueprint. And if I go to my left hand side functions, I can override one of these 4 functions. And I'm going to do a received notifier begin. So when it receives the begin, it's going to do something, okay? So I'm going to get my mesh comp and get the owner of the mesh. Now goes to the actor. I want to cast that to Frosty, plugging it in, and as Frosty we're going to set a timer by function name. Now the function doesn't exist yet, but we know what we're going to call it. We're going to call it fire snowball, and we want a timer of 0.1 second and set to loop. We're then going to plug that into the return node here. Click compile. Okay, so we're going to need to store this timer on the Frosty. So let's go to Frosty and make a new variable. And this is going to be snowball timer. And we'll make the variable type of that timer handle and click compile. Now if I go back to my state, as Frosty, going to drag out and set timer, set snowball timer, and that's going to be equal to this. Now to end the shooting, we're going to go to received notify end and override it, and it's very much similar. So we're going to get mesh comp, get owner, cast to Frosty, But then we're going to get that timer. Get timer. And then tell it to clear and validate that timer. So with that all hooked up, that should now turn off the attack. So we've got begin, starting the attack, and ending the attack. So actually let's do the attack. So on Frosty here, we're going to make a new custom event. And this event is going to be called Fire Snowball. It has to match exactly what we just typed into our Notifier state. And to test this out, we can do a print string to test whether or not it is working with the Notifier state. So if we go push play. Oh, I forgot to tell it to enter phase 2. So I'm just going to take the begin play here, just plug it into phase 2. So there's this spawn animation, and there's the hello going round for him shooting. When it ends, you can see it ending. Cool, okay, so that's working. So now we have to tell it to actually shoot the snowball. So instead of a print string. So fire snowball, we're going to spawn actor from class. I'm going to choose a snowball actor. Now the location for this is going to come from our viewport here. Now at the start we set up a skeletal mesh socket. So to double check and show you that, if I go to my skeletal mesh, to the skeleton, on the mouth bottom I created a mouth socket and positioned it into the correct location. Okay. Hit save, and once you've got that, that means we can now attach something to it. And I'm going to attach a scene component. Drag that on top of your skeletal mesh, and then you'll find in the parent socket, click on magnifying glass, you can choose your new socket. We can then use that to get our spawn transform. So drag your scene out, get transform, and just plug it straight in. And hit compile. Oh, got to tell it be the snowball. There you go. So it's going to spawn a snowball. Now the snowball, by default, is just going to fly dead straight. Okay, so to show you that, we go down. Okay, so just go dead straight. Right. So instead of doing that, we want it to shoot towards the player. So to do that, we're going to tell it to change its projectile velocity. So from the return value, get projectile movement component, there you go, and we're going to set velocity. Ooh. And the velocity is going to be is a combination of speed and direction. So we want to get the speed from the projectile movement, max speed, and we now need to get the direction. So we're going to get unit direction, and the from is going to come from the scene component. So drag your scene component out, get world location, and plug that in. Then from the to, we're going to get player character and get their location. This will be plugged into a multiply, a float, because we're going to multiply it by the max speed. So it's speed multiplied by direction gets us velocity. Hit compile, and let's see how that looks. So he spawns, and then he spits out his snowballs. Cool. So the next trick is to make him rotate with us, because if you look, I can just run behind him. And the snowballs will fire in my direction, but it looks kind of odd. So I'm going to tell the snowman to always look in my direction. So to do that, we're going to go into a tick event. And on the tick event, we're going to make sure he is always turning in the yaw, at least, to face the same as the player. So you want to find the look at rotation. The start is going to be the current actor location. And then we want to get the player location for the target. Just get a return value. We're going to split that because we only want the yaw, and we're going to tell the actor set actor rotation, and we're going to split that the yaw here and hit compile. Let's see if that works. He should now face center all the time. Okay, so to make the snowballs a bit more menacing, let's increase their size a bit. So on the spawn transform here, I'm just going to disconnect that and split it, and split this one. Location and rotation just fine. For transform here, I'm going to put in 2, 2, 2. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so the snowball's now getting hit by each other and therefore cancelling out. So we have to tell it to ignore themselves. So the way we're going to do that is set up a new collision channel. So we're going to edit project settings and search for collision channel. Not channel. I spelled that wrong. Let's just do object channel. There we go. So we're going to go add new object channel and call it projectile. And click accept. We're going to go into our snowball. Go to its sphere. Scroll down. Change its object type to projectile, which it has already. And then on projectile, I'm going to tell it to overlap. Hit compile, and let's close that. And playing it, it should now spawn the snowballs no problem, because they'll be aiming towards you. Cool. And that ends his phase 2. So that will do for this episode. If you want to join us in the next episode we're going to go into phase 3, the spawning of icicles on the ground which sprout up all over the place trying to kill the player. So join us in the next episode to catch that episode right now, or head over to patreon.com/RyanLaley where you can support me for just $1 and see that video plus many others right now. Big thank you to all my supporters so far, and I can't wait to show you what we have in store for next year. So thanks very much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.